Did you know that Goliath wasn't just any giant? One of the Nephilim, powerful beings mentioned in the Bible? Today, we dive into the true story of Goliath and his brothers, uncovering secrets that have puzzled scholars and believers alike. If you've ever wondered about the origins of these mysterious giants and their role in biblical history, this video is for you. Stay tuned as we unravel the fascinating tale of the Nephilim and reveal the truths hidden in the ancient scriptures. Hello everyone, my name is John, and I specialize in exploring and explaining the rich and complex stories of the Bible. Through my channel, I aim to bring clarity and insight into the ancient texts that have shaped our beliefs and culture. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the Nephilim and the legendary giant Goliath. As promised, we'll delve into the origins and significance of the Nephilim, especially focusing on Goliath and his brothers. This isn't just about retelling old stories. It's about understanding their deeper meanings and implications. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture of who the Nephilim were and why they were so important in biblical history. Let's get started. Goliath, the Philistine giant defeated by David, is an iconic figure in biblical narratives. His story is often cited as a symbol of courage and faith, but few know the deeper mysteries surrounding his origin. Behind the image of a mere colossal warrior lies an intricate plot that dates back to ancient times and involves enigmatic beings known as the Nephilim. Who were these Nephilim, and how do they relate to Goliath? Let's dive into this fascinating story and uncover the hidden truths. Goliath's story goes beyond his battle with David. It leads us to question traditional interpretations of the scriptures and explore ancient texts that mention beings of superhuman size and abilities. Over the centuries, scholars and theologians have debated the true nature of these giants, proposing hypotheses ranging from genetic mutations, the intervention of supernatural forces. The journey to unravel this mystery invites us to examine evidence and ancient accounts that suggest a connection between Goliath and the enigmatic Nephilim. The Nephilim are mentioned in various passages of the Bible, described as offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These beings have intrigued researchers for millennia, with descriptions ranging from towering giants to fallen celestial beings. The role of the Nephilim in biblical narrative is controversial, leading to numerous interpretations and theories about their origin and purpose. By exploring these stories, we begin to realize that the figure of Goliath may be more than just an isolated character in biblical mythology, part of a larger, more complex plot. Unraveling the mystery of Goliath and the Nephilim requires a multidisciplinary approach, combining theology, history, archaeology, and anthropology. Throughout this documentary, we will examine archaeological evidence, historical accounts, and theological interpretations to build a more complete and detailed picture of this fascinating story. Prepare for a journey that will challenge your beliefs and reveal hidden secrets that changed the course of ancient history. The Nephilim are one of the most mysterious figures in the Bible, briefly mentioned in Genesis and other ancient texts. Described as giants and beings of great power, they have been the subject of speculation and fascination among scholars and theologians. But who exactly were these Nephilim? The word Nephilim is derived from a Hebrew term that can be translated as fallen, or those who cause others to fall. This raises the question, were they fallen angels, human hybrids, or something entirely different? The most famous passage that mentions the Nephilim is in Genesis 6:1-4, where they are described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. This passage suggests a union between divine beings and mortals, resulting in descendants of extraordinary size and power. This interpretation has led to various theories about the nature of the Nephilim. Some scholars believe they were fallen angels who rebelled against God, while others suggest they were ancient kings or leaders whose deeds were exaggerated over time. Besides the Bible, the Nephilim are mentioned in other ancient texts, including the Book of Enoch and other apocryphal writings. These texts offer a more detailed view of the Nephilim, describing them as beings who brought forbidden knowledge to humanity and played a significant role in the corruption of the world before the flood. Through these sources, we can begin to understand the complexity and impact of these beings on ancient narratives. as well as why they were considered such a significant threat that divine intervention was deemed necessary. The study of the Nephilim is not just a matter of theological interpretation, but also involves archaeological and anthropological evidence. Excavations and discoveries of giant skeletons in various parts of the world have been cited as possible proof of the Nephilim's existence. Although many of these discoveries are controversial and often discredited, they fuel ongoing curiosity and debate about the reality behind these legends. By examining this evidence, we attempt to separate fact from fiction and better understand who the Nephilim really were. The origin of the Nephilim in the Bible is shrouded in mystery and ambiguity. Genesis 6:1-4 provides the primary biblical reference, but this passage is brief and open to multiple interpretations. According to the text, the Nephilim appeared on earth when the sons of God united with the daughters of men, resulting in a race of powerful giants. This unusual union has been interpreted in various ways throughout history, ranging from celestial beings to humans of noble lineages. One of the most common interpretations is that the sons of God refers to fallen angels, while the daughters of men, human women. This view suggests that the Nephilim were the result of a divine transgression, a forbidden mix of celestial beings with mortals. This perspective is reinforced by apocryphal texts like the Book of Enoch, which describes the fallen angels known as Watchers, taking human wives and producing a race of giants. These apocryphal stories expand the biblical narrative, offering additional details about the origin and nature of the Nephilim. Another interpretation suggests that the sons of God were descendants of Seth, third son of Adam and Eve, while the daughters of men, descendants of Cain. This view proposes that the Nephilim were human but of extraordinary stature and strength, resulting from the combination of specific lineages. This less supernatural approach attempts to reconcile the Nephilim's story with a more human perspective, while still acknowledging the presence of unusual and extraordinary characteristics in these beings. Regardless of the interpretation, the Nephilim represent an enigma that defies simple understanding. The mention of these beings in the Bible suggests a time when the earth was inhabited by creatures of unimaginable power and size. This mystery fuels the ongoing fascination with these figures and inspires the search for answers in both theology and science. By exploring the biblical origins of the Nephilim, we seek not only to understand who they were, but also the lasting impact of their stories on human culture and belief. The existence of giants on Earth is a theme that has fascinated humanity for centuries. Stories of colossal beings appear in various cultures around the world, from the giants of Greek mythology to the Nephilim in the Bible. But are these stories based on real facts, or are they mere myths? The search for tangible evidence of giants leads us to explore both historical accounts and archaeological discoveries in an attempt to separate reality from fiction. Accounts of giants are abundant in ancient texts and oral traditions. In the Bible, besides Goliath, there are other mentions of giants, such as the Anakim and the Rephaim, described as inhabitants of the lands of Canaan. These giants are often portrayed as powerful adversaries of the Israelites, suggesting that their existence was an accepted part of the historical narrative of the time. Texts from other cultures, such as Norse sagas and Hindu mythology, also describe beings of immense size and strength, indicating that the belief in giants was a global phenomenon. Archaeologically, there are controversial records of discoveries of giant skeletons. Some of these claims have been discredited as hoaxes or misunderstandings, while others remain without conclusive explanation. For example, reports of giant bones found in archaeological sites in North America and the Middle East sparked heated debates among scientists and enthusiasts. Although the scientific community generally remains skeptical, these discoveries continue to fuel theories and speculations about the possible existence of a race of giants in the distant past. The interpretation of these stories and discoveries is also influenced by cultural and historical context. In antiquity, narratives about giants could serve to explain natural phenomena, legitimize the rise of dynasties, or symbolize epic conflict. Today, these stories continue to fascinate and inspire the search for answers about our past. The existence of giants, whether as fact or myth, reflects the eternal human curiosity and desire to explore the limits of the possible. The story of Goliath, the Philistine giant, is one of the most well-known in the Bible. His defeat at the hands of the young David is often cited as a lesson in courage, faith, and the victory of the seemingly weak over the powerful. However, the legend of Goliath may be much more than a simple moral tale. When we examine the details and context of this narrative, we uncover layers of meaning and potential hidden truths that go beyond what is written on the surface. Goliath is described as a warrior of immense stature and strength, equipped with impressive armor and a massive spear. His presence on the battlefield was not just a physical threat, but also a symbol of the Philistines' power and intimidation over the Israelites. The detailed description of his armor and weapons suggests that he was a formidable combatant, trained and prepared to face any adversary. What makes his story even more intriguing are the implications of his origin and the possible connection to the Nephilim. The battle between David and Goliath was not just a physical confrontation, but also a clash of ideas and beliefs. David, armed only with a sling and his faith in God, represents unwavering confidence in the divine and justice. Goliath, on the other hand, embodies the arrogance of earthly power and brute strength. This confrontation symbolizes the eternal struggle between good and evil, faith and doubt, and courage in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. David's victory is a testament to the power of faith and determination, resonating through the centuries as an inspiration for all who face challenges. The legend of Goliath also leads us to question the historical accuracy of the events described. Although the story is central to the biblical narrative, there are debates about its factual precision. Some scholars suggest that Goliath could be a historical figure, exaggerated over time, while others believe he might represent a type of giant warrior common in that era. Regardless of the truth, the story of Goliath continues to capture the imagination and challenge our perceptions of the past and the possibility that extraordinary beings once walked the earth. Ancient accounts of giants, including Goliath and the Nephilim, are found in various sources beyond the Bible. Historical texts, mythologies, and oral traditions from different cultures present gigantic figures who often possess superhuman ability. These accounts are intriguing not only because of their content, but also because of the persistence of these stories across time and geography. By exploring these accounts, we seek to understand what motivated these narratives and whether there is a common basis that could indicate a historical reality. In ancient Mesopotamia, Sumerian texts speak of beings called Anunnaki, who were of extraordinary stature and power. In Egypt, legends mention giant pharaohs and gods of immense size. Similarly, Greek mythology is filled with giants, such as the Titans and the Cyclopes, who challenged the gods of Olympus. These stories are echoed in the cultures of North and South America, where indigenous tribes speak of giants who inhabited the land before the arrival of modern humans. Studying these accounts requires a critical and meticulous approach. Many of these stories were transmitted orally before being recorded, which means they could have been altered over time. However, consistency of certain elements, such as the gigantic size, immense strength, and interaction with humans, suggests that there is more than mere coincidence. By comparing these stories with the biblical descriptions of the Nephilim, we can begin to identify patterns that point to a possible common origin of these legends. Archaeology also plays a crucial role in investigating these ancient accounts. Excavations at historical sites have revealed colossal structures and artifacts that seem to indicate the presence of a civilization with capabilities beyond what would be expected. Monuments such as Stonehenge, pyramids of Giza, and the Moai of Easter Island raise questions about the technology and strength needed for their construction, fueling theories about the influence of giant beings. Although many of these theories remain controversial, they continue to spark curiosity and the search for concrete answers. Archaeology has played a fascinating role in the search for evidence of the giants mentioned in ancient stories. In various parts of the world, skeletons have been discovered that many believe belong to beings of enormous size. These discoveries, although often surrounded by controversy and skepticism, provide fertile ground for speculation and debate about the existence of giants in antiquity. One of the most well-known examples is the alleged giant skeletons found in North America. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, several excavations of burial mounds revealed bones that some claim belonged to giant human beings. Reports of skeletons measuring between 8 to 10 feet tall were published in newspapers of the time, although many of these discoveries were later discredited or lost. Despite this, these accounts continue to fascinate researchers and enthusiasts. Alternative archaeology. In Europe and the Middle East, there are also reports of giant skeleton discovery. One of the most famous cases is the supposed remains of giants found in Italy, which were said to be over 10 feet tall. In Greece, excavations in ancient tombs have revealed bones that some believe belong to the legendary heroes and demigods of Greek mythology. These discoveries, though rare and often contested, continue to fuel the imagination and the search for an explanation for the stories of giants. The interpretation of these archaeological evidences is complicated by several factors. First, the authenticity of many of these discoveries is often questioned due to the lack of rigorous documentation and the possibility of fraud. Second, even when the bones are genuine, it can be difficult to determine whether they truly belonged to giant humans or were simply cases of diseases like gigantism. However, the persistence of these accounts and discoveries suggests that the question of giants in ancient history cannot be easily dismissed. The connection between the Nephilim and other ancient sacred texts is a crucial aspect for understanding the extent and depth of these stories. Beyond the Bible, we find references to giant beings in texts from various other religious and spiritual traditions. These connections suggest that the idea of a race of giants was not isolated, but rather an integral part of the beliefs and mythologies of many cultures around the world. The Book of Enoch, an apocryphal text respected in some Jewish and Christian traditions, offers a detailed view of the Nephilim and the Watchers, angels who were said to have descended to earth and engaged with human women. This text expands on the Genesis narrative, providing details about the acts of the Watchers, corruption they brought, and the judgment they faced. Although the Book of Enoch is not considered canonical in most Christian traditions, it has significantly influenced the development of ideas about the Nephilim and their fall. In other cultures, such as the Sumerian, we find accounts of giant and semi-divine beings in epic texts, like the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, described as a being of exceptional size and strength, is often compared to the Nephilim due to his semi-divine nature and heroic feats. These parallels raise questions about the common origin of these stories and whether they might derive from a shared historical or mythical source. In Hindu tradition, Vedic texts and epics such as the Mahabharata mention powerful and giant beings like the Rakshasas and Asuras who fought against gods and humans. These stories, like those of the Nephilim, describe an era of colossal beings and epic battles, reflecting similar themes of corruption, power, and divine intervention. By exploring these connections, we begin to see a global pattern that suggests a collective memory or a common foundational myth that inspired various cultures throughout history. The Nephilim, or beings similar to them, appear in various ancient cultures, each adapting the narrative according to their own beliefs and tradition. The presence of these giants in so many different stories raises the possibility that the idea of a race of colossal beings may have deep roots in the human psyche, reflecting fears, aspirations, and interpretations of the natural world. In Greek mythology, the Titans and giants were beings of immense size and power who challenged the gods of Olympus. These stories of rebellion and conflict echo the narratives of the Nephilim and the Watchers, suggesting a shared vision of beings that transcend human capabilities. The Titans, for example, were primordial gods representing elemental forces and chaos, while the giants were considered the offspring of Gaia, the earth, and often associated with wild and untamed nature. In Norse mythology, we find the Jotuns, or giants, who inhabited Jotunheim and frequently clashed with the Aesir gods. These figures are described as immense and powerful beings, often symbolizing natural and chaotic forces that the gods tried to control. The battles between the Aesir and the Jotuns reflect themes of order versus chaos. much like the struggles described in the stories of the Nephilim. Indigenous cultures of the Americas also have their own versions of giants. In the traditions of Native American peoples, there are stories of giants who inhabited the land before the arrival of modern humans. Some tribes believed that these giants were the builders of ancient mounds and megalithic structures found throughout North America. These stories, passed down through generations, serve as a bridge between the mythical past and the present, keeping the memory of these extraordinary beings alive. Comparing these narratives from such diverse cultures, we see that the idea of giants is a recurring theme in human mythology. These beings often symbolize challenges and forces beyond human control, reflecting both admiration and fear. The presence of the Nephilim and similar beings in so many stories suggests that these giants are more than mere fantasies, but a fundamental component of human attempts to understand the world and their place in it. The Nephilim play a central role in mythology and ancient narratives, representing a bridge between the divine and the mortal, the known and the unknown. Through their stories, we explore themes of power, corruption, redemption, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. These giants are not merely mythological characters, but profound symbols of human concerns and aspiration. In the biblical narrative, the Nephilim are often seen as symbols of corruption and decadence. Their presence on earth is associated with a period of great wickedness that preceded the flood, suggesting that they were part of the reason God decided to cleanse the world and start anew. This interpretation positions the Nephilim as catalysts of change, marking the end of one era and the beginning of another. They represent the consequences of overstepping divine boundaries, serving as a lesson about the dangers of arrogance and disobedience. In other mythologies, giants play similar roles. In ancient Greece, the giants and titans symbolize primordial forces that had to be tamed by the gods of Olympus. Their stories were warnings about the dangers of excessive power and rebellion against established order. In Norse mythology, the Jotuns represent chaos and untamed nature, against which the gods struggle to maintain order and civilization. These epic battles reflect the eternal struggle to balance opposing forces, a narrative that resonates deeply with the human experience. The Nephilim also serve as a reminder of human limitations and the desire to transcend these limitations. They are often described as beings of great knowledge and abilities, suggesting a human aspiration to reach the divine or the superhuman. This quest can be seen in many religious and spiritual traditions, where humans seek to connect with something greater than themselves. The Nephilim, with their mix of divine and mortal, encapsulate this aspiration and the potential danger can represent. Finally, the Nephilim and other mythological giants help us explore the unknown. They inhabit the edges of our stories, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy become indistinct. By telling and retelling their stories, we keep alive the flame of curiosity and mystery, encouraging the continuous exploration of the limits of our knowledge and imagination. They remind us that no matter how much we know, there is always something more to discover, something hidden waiting to be revealed. Modern interpretations of the Nephilim reflect a wide range of perspectives, from traditional theology to conspiracy theories and scientific speculations. In the theological field, scholars continue to debate the meaning of the Nephilim, exploring their role in the scriptures and the implications of their existence for contemporary faith. Many modern interpretations seek to reconcile biblical accounts with scientific and historical knowledge, aiming for a deeper understanding of these enigmatic beings. Some theological currents view the Nephilim as a metaphor for corruption and moral decay. These interpretations suggest that the stories of the Nephilim and the Watchers are allegories warning against the blending of divine and human elements, symbolizing the need to maintain spiritual purity. Other scholars, however, consider the Nephilim as literal figures, arguing that biblical descriptions should be taken seriously and interpreted as historical accounts of supernatural events. Outside the theological realm, the Nephilim have become a popular focus among conspiracy theorists and supernatural enthusiasts. Theories involving the Nephilim often suggest that they were a race of advanced beings who possessed superior knowledge and technology. Some of these theories even propose that the Nephilim were responsible for the construction of ancient monuments, such as the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. Although these interpretations are frequently dismissed by mainstream academia, they can continue to captivate the imagination of many and inspire a continuous search for evidence of their existence. In the scientific field, the question of the Nephilim is approached more skeptically, with researchers exploring natural explanations for the accounts of giants. Studies in genetics and anthropology have investigated conditions such as gigantism and acromegaly, which could have contributed to the creation of myths about beings of extraordinary size. Additionally, advances in archaeology and ancient DNA analysis offer new tools to examine the evidence and attempt to answer the persistent questions about the Nephilim and their possible historical reality. Through these various lenses, whether theological, conspiratorial, or scientific, the Nephilim remain a fascinating and enduring topic of exploration, reflecting humanity's ongoing quest to understand the mysteries of our past and the nature of extraordinary beings. Modern interpretations of the Nephilim reflect a wide range of perspectives, from traditional theology to conspiracy theories and scientific speculations. In the theological field, scholars continue to debate the meaning of the Nephilim, exploring their role in the scriptures and the implications of their existence for contemporary faith. Many modern interpretations seek to reconcile biblical accounts with scientific and historical knowledge, aiming for a deeper understanding of these enigmatic beings. Some theological currents view the Nephilim as a metaphor for corruption and moral decay. These interpretations suggest that the stories of the Nephilim and the Watchers are allegories warning against the blending of divine and human elements, symbolizing the need to maintain spiritual purity. Other scholars, however, consider the Nephilim as literal figures, arguing that biblical descriptions should be taken seriously and interpreted as historical accounts of supernatural events. Outside the theological realm, the Nephilim have become a popular focus among conspiracy theorists and supernatural enthusiasts. Theories involving the Nephilim often suggest that they were a race of advanced beings who possessed superior knowledge and technology. Some of these theories even propose that the Nephilim were responsible for the construction of ancient monuments, such as the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. Although these interpretations are frequently dismissed by mainstream academia, they can continue to captivate the imagination of many and inspire a continuous search for evidence of their existence. In the scientific field, the question of the Nephilim is approached more skeptically, with researchers exploring natural explanations for the accounts of giants. Studies in genetics and anthropology have investigated conditions such as gigantism and acromegaly, which could have contributed to the creation of myths about beings of extraordinary size. Additionally, advances in archaeology and ancient DNA analysis offer new tools to examine the evidence and attempt to answer the persistent questions about the Nephilim and their possible historical reality. Through these various lenses, whether theological, conspiratorial, or scientific, the Nephilim remain a fascinating and enduring topic of exploration, reflecting humanity's ongoing quest to understand the mysteries of our past and the nature of extraordinary beings. Goliath, the famous Philistine giant, is one of the most iconic figures in the Bible. His defeat by David is a story often remembered as a symbol of courage and faith. However, upon closer examination, we see that Goliath was not just a giant, but also a skilled and formidable warrior among other giants. His story and his role among the Philistines offer a fascinating insight into the life and conflict. Described as a man nearly 3 meters tall, Goliath was an impressive soldier, clad in heavy armor and armed with a massive spear. His presence on the battlefield was a display of strength and power, intended to intimidate his adversary. Who was Goliath beyond his stature? Studies suggest that he could have been a warrior trained from childhood, possibly belonging to an elite class of soldiers within Philistine society. The origin of Goliath and his possible connection to the Nephilim are also topics of great interest. Some scholars suggest that Goliath could be a descendant of the Nephilim, inheriting not only his impressive size, but also exceptional combat skill. This theory is supported by biblical accounts that mention other giants among the Philistines and Canaanite, suggesting that Goliath was not an isolated case, part of a lineage of giant warriors who inhabited the region. The battle between David and Goliath is often interpreted as a confrontation between good and evil, faith and doubt. However, considering the possibility that Goliath was more than just a giant, we can view this story in a new light. Goliath represented the brute strength and military tradition of the Philistine, while David symbolized innovation, faith, and courage. This dynamic makes the story even richer and more complex, showing that David's victory was not just a physical triumph, but also a symbol of a new era of leadership and spirituality. Through this lens, Goliath's story serves as a reminder of the multifaceted nature of historical narratives and the enduring human themes of power, conflict, and faith. The battle between David and Goliath is one of the most retold stories in the Bible. But there are aspects of this narrative that are often forgotten or underestimated. Beyond David's famous victory, the preparation, context, and implications of this battle offer a deeper understanding of the events and characters involved. Before the confrontation, David's preparation is a crucial element. He was a young shepherd, not a trained soldier, but he possessed skills that would prove decisive. His practice with a sling to protect his flock from predators gave him the precision needed to take down Goliath. Additionally, his unwavering faith in God and his conviction that he was fighting for a just cause gave him a crucial psychological advantage. This combination of skill, faith, and strategy was fundamental to his success. The context of the battle is also significant. The Philistines were in constant conflict with the Israelites, and Goliath was their champion, challenging the Israelites daily. His defeat was not just a personal victory for David, but a turning point in the war. David's victory inspired the Israelites and demoralized the Philistines, shifting the balance of power in the region. This battle, therefore, had far-reaching political and military implications, altering the course of history for both nations. Moreover, the battle between David and Goliath is rich in symbolism. David, armed only with a sling and 5 smooth stones, faced a giant fully armed. This disparity of power symbolizes the struggle of the seemingly weak against the seemingly invincible, a narrative that resonates deeply in the human experience. David's choice to face Goliath with simple but effective weapons also illustrates the importance of intelligence and innovation over brute strength. Finally, David's victory was not the end of his journey, but the beginning. After defeating Goliath, David gained fame and recognition, eventually becoming the king of Israel. This story, therefore, marks the beginning of a new era in Israelite history, with David establishing a kingdom based on principles of justice and faith. The battle with Goliath was a prelude to the many challenges David would face as a leader, but also an example of how courage and faith can change the destiny of a nation. The scriptures are filled with hidden secrets and enigmatic passages that offer glimpses of fascinating stories and character. The Nephilim and Goliath are just 2 of the figures that emerge from these biblical depths, and exploring these texts can reveal even more about the nature and purpose of these beings. Genesis 6:1-4 is one of the most discussed passages, offering a brief but intriguing mention of the Nephilim. This text raises more questions than answers, leaving much room for interpretation. Scholars have debated the meaning of the sons of God and the daughters of men, with interpretations ranging from fallen angels to specific human lineages. The ambiguity of this passage makes the Nephilim an ongoing enigma, puzzle that attracts theologians and researchers from all disciplines. Beyond Genesis, other biblical passages offer clues about the Nephilim and giant. The book of Numbers, for instance, mentions the Anakim, a race of giants that inhabited Canaan. The spies sent by Moses described themselves as grasshoppers compared to these giants, a powerful image that underscores the stature and impact of the Anakim. These descriptions evoke the continued and significant presence of giants in the biblical narrative, suggesting they played an important role in Israelite history and culture. Apocryphal texts, such as the Book of Enoch, further expand these stories, providing additional details about the Watchers and their descendant. Although these texts are not considered canonical in most Jewish and Christian traditions, They offer a rich and detailed view of the events and characters involved. These alternative narratives provide a broader context for understanding the Nephilim and their actions, as well as the consequences of their presence on Earth. Interpreting the scriptures is a complex and ongoing task. Each new discovery, whether an ancient manuscript or a new theological interpretation, can shed new light on these hidden secrets. By exploring these passages, we seek not only to understand the history, but also the spiritual and moral lessons they offer. The Nephilim and Goliath are powerful symbols of these lessons, representing the challenges and temptations we all face in our spiritual journey. The extinction of the Nephilim is a topic that generates much speculation and debate. Various theories have been proposed to explain the disappearance of these giants, ranging from natural catastrophes to divine interventions. These theories not only attempt to resolve the mystery of their disappearance, but also help us better understand the historical and cultural context in which these stories developed. One of the most common theories is that the Nephilim were destroyed by the flood. The biblical account in Genesis describes a world corrupted by wickedness, where the Nephilim played a significant role in spreading sin. God decided to purify the earth with a flood, saving only Noah and his family. This narrative suggests that the flood was a direct response to the corruption caused by the Nephilim and the Watchers, cleansing the earth of their malign influence. Another theory suggests that the Nephilim were gradually extinguished through conflicts and wars. The biblical accounts of battles between the Israelites and giant tribes such as the Anakim and the Rephaim indicate that these races of giants were defeated and driven out of their lands. This theory proposes that the Nephilim were systematically eliminated over time, either through direct battles or through genetic assimilation and dilution into human population. There are also theories that explore natural causes for the extinction of the Nephilim. Some scholars suggest that climate changes, natural disasters, or diseases could have contributed to the disappearance of these giants. These theories attempt to align the biblical accounts with a scientific perspective, seeking plausible explanations for the extinction of the Nephilim within the historical and environmental context of the time. Finally, some speculative theories propose that the Nephilim did not disappear completely, but that their lineage continues in a hidden form. Conspiracy theorists and supernatural enthusiasts suggest that the Nephilim or their descendants may be hiding, living on the fringes of society or in remote locations. Although these theories are often dismissed by academia, they fuel the imagination and keep the fascination with these mysterious beings alive. In exploring these various theories, we not only delve into the mystery of the Nephilim's extinction, but also gain insights into the broader themes of human history, mythology, and our enduring quest to understand the unknown. The legacy of the Nephilim in history is a subject that continues to intrigue and fascinate scholars, theologians, and enthusiasts. While their existence as literal beings is debated, the influence of their stories on culture, religion, and mythology is undeniable. The Nephilim, with their extraordinary characteristics, have left an indelible mark on the human imagination, shaping narratives that persist to this day. The influence of the Nephilim can be seen in the way stories of giants have been incorporated into various religious and mythological traditions. In Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Nephilim are often cited as examples of transgression and divine judgment. Their stories serve as warnings against the improper mixing of sacred and worldly elements, reflecting themes of purity and corruption that are central to these religions. In mythology, the Nephilim and similar figures appear in diverse cultures, influencing legends and popular tales. The giants of Greek mythology, the Jotuns of Norse mythology, and the Rakshasas of Hindu tradition share many characteristics with the Nephilim, suggesting a widespread dissemination of the idea of colossal and powerful being. These stories not only entertain but also convey cultural values and moral lessons, perpetuating the legacy of the Nephilim from generation to generation. Beyond religious and mythological traditions, the Nephilim have also inspired numerous works of art, literature, and entertainment. From Renaissance paintings to modern fantasy novels, the figure of the giant continues to capture the imagination. Movies, TV series, and video games frequently depict beings inspired by the Nephilim, using their image to explore themes of power, danger, and the unknown. This cultural legacy demonstrates the resilience and versatility of Nephilim stories, adapting to changing contexts and times. Finally, the legacy of the Nephilim in history is a testament to the persistence of human curiosity. The quest to understand these mysterious beings has led to archaeological investigations, theological debates, speculative theories. Even if the literal existence of the Nephilim is never proven, the exploration of their stories provides a window into human fears, aspirations, and creativity. They represent the eternal desire to transcend the known and explore the boundaries of the possible. Through these lenses, the Nephilim remain a powerful symbol in human history, reflecting our collective quest for meaning and understanding in a complex and mysterious world. The influence of the Nephilim on ancient civilizations can be perceived through their mythologies, monumental structures, and religious beliefs. Whether the Nephilim were real or merely powerful myths, their stories shaped ancient cultures in profound and lasting ways. They symbolized power, mystery, and the connection between the divine and the human, influencing how people viewed the world and their place within it. In ancient Mesopotamia, Sumerian and Akkadian texts speak of divine beings who descended to earth, similar to the biblical Nephilim. The Anunnaki, mentioned in various clay tablets, were powerful gods who interacted with humans, often in direct and physical ways. These stories echo the biblical accounts of the Watchers and the Nephilim, suggesting a common narrative of celestial beings influencing humanity. Construction of ziggurats and temples may have been inspired by the quest for a connection with these superior beings. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs were often portrayed as descendants of the gods, an idea that resonates with the narrative of the Nephilim. Accounts of giant pharaohs, such as the legendary King Og, and the construction of the pyramids reflect a culture obsessed with divine power and immortality. The pyramids, with their monumental construction, can be seen as an attempt to replicate or honor the feats of the Nephilim, seeking to immortalize the pharaohs and ensure their passage to the afterlife. In Greece and Rome, myths of titans and giants profoundly influenced culture and religion. The stories of gigantic primordial beings who challenged the Olympian gods mirror the rebellion of the Nephilim and the Watchers against divine order. The epic battles between gods and giants symbolize the struggle between order and chaos, a central theme in Greek and Roman societies. Monuments like the Colossus of Rhodes and statues of Zeus and Poseidon reflect the fascination with beings of unusual size and power. In the indigenous cultures of the Americas, such as the Anasazi and the Maya, there are accounts of giants who preceded the current humans. Megalithic structures and ceremonial mounds found in various parts of the continent suggest a connection to the stories of giants. These constructions, often attributed to supernatural forces or beings of great power, reflect the enduring influence of Nephilim and giant stories in how these cultures viewed the world and explained natural and social phenomena. The lasting impact of the Nephilim and similar beings in these ancient cultures highlights their role in shaping human imagination and belief systems. They served as powerful symbols of the divine and the extraordinary, leaving an indelible mark on the myths, monuments, and religious practices of civilizations around the world. Goliath is often remembered as a singular giant, but his story suggests that he was part of a larger lineage of giants. The mention of other giants in the scriptures and ancient texts indicates the existence of a bloodline of beings of exceptional stature and strength. Exploring this lineage helps us better understand the historical and cultural context in which Goliath lived, as well as the implications of his existence. In the Bible, besides Goliath, we find references to other giants such as the Anakim, the Rephaim, and the Emim. These groups are described as inhabiting the land of Canaan before the arrival of the Israelites, and are often portrayed as formidable adversaries. The fact that Goliath is mentioned alongside these other giants suggests that he was part of a continuous tradition of giant warriors in the region, possibly linked by ancestry or culture. Accounts of giant lineages are not limited to the Bible. Apocryphal texts and ancient writings from other cultures also mention families or clans of giants. In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers who mated with human women produced a race of giants, spread across the earth. These giants, direct descendants of celestial beings, would have passed on their extraordinary characteristics through generations, creating a distinct bloodline. This concept of a divine or semi-divine lineage is a recurring theme in many mythologies around the world. Archaeologically, the search for evidence of a giant bloodline is challenging but not impossible. Discoveries of abnormally large skeletons and artifacts associated with these figures have sparked debates about their authenticity and significance. While many of these discoveries are controversial, they continue to fuel theories about the existence of a lineage of giants that influenced ancient history. The analysis of ancient DNA and other modern technologies may eventually shed more light on these possibilities. The idea of a giant bloodline also has cultural and symbolic implication. In many traditions, lineage is seen as a source of identity and power. Descendants of giants like Goliath would be viewed not only as powerful warriors, but also as heirs to an ancestral legacy that set them apart from ordinary humans. This perception may have influenced how these figures were treated and remembered in history, perpetuating the aura of mystery and reverence surrounds them. In some, Goliath's story, when viewed through the lens of a larger lineage of giants, provides a richer understanding of the ancient world's perception of power, divinity, heritage. This exploration into the lineage of giants like Goliath reveals the deep cultural and historical roots of these narratives, highlighting their enduring impact on human imagination and beliefs. The Nephilim and their stories have continued to influence popular culture in profound and varied ways. From literature to cinema, video games, and TV series, the figure of the Nephilim resonates with themes of power, mystery, and conflict that capture the public's imagination. The exploration of these stories in popular culture reflects both the ongoing fascination with these beings and the ability of ancient narratives to adapt and evolve over time. In literature, the Nephilim have been the subject of numerous novels and short stories. Fantasy and science fiction authors often use the figure of the Nephilim to explore themes of hybridity, transgression, and supernatural power. Books like Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code and Cassandra Clare's The Mortal Instruments series incorporate elements of the Nephilim into their plots, creating worlds where these beings play central roles in the struggle between good and evil. These works not only entertain, but also provoke reflection on theological and existential questions. In cinema and television, the Nephilim appear in various genres, from horror films to epic dramas. Productions like Darren Aronofsky's Noah portray the Nephilim as powerful and tragic beings, expanding biblical stories with impressive visual effects and compelling narratives. TV series such as Supernatural and Lucifer also explore Nephilim mythology, presenting them as complex and multifaceted figures, often in conflict with their own natures and destinies. These representations reflect the enduring fascination with the mystery and power of the Nephilim. Video games have also tapped into Nephilim mythology, creating interactive experiences that immerse players in worlds where these beings play significant roles. Games like Darksiders and Bayonetta feature Nephilim as protagonists or antagonists, using their strength and supernatural abilities as central elements of gameplay. These games not only entertain, but also allow players to explore themes of power, morality, and destiny in an immersive and engaging context. The impact of the Nephilim on popular culture demonstrates the versatility and resonance of these stories. They continue to inspire and capture the imagination, providing a rich source of material for artists and creators worldwide. By adapting and reinterpreting the stories of the Nephilim, popular culture keeps the flame of mystery and exploration alive, perpetuating the legacy of these enigmatic beings in new and exciting ways. This ongoing engagement with Nephilim mythology underscores the timeless nature of these narratives, proving that ancient stories still have the power to captivate and influence modern audiences. The journey to uncover the hidden truth of Goliath and the Nephilim takes us through ancient mythologies, theological interpretations, and modern speculations. These mysterious and powerful figures have left an indelible mark on history and culture, influencing how we perceive the world and our place in it. While definitive answers may continue to elude us, quest for understanding reveals much about human nature and our eternal curiosity about the unknown. The Nephilim, with their nebulous origins and lasting impact, are more than mere characters from ancient stories. They represent the intersection of the divine and the human, the possible and the impossible. Their stories challenge us to consider the boundaries of knowledge and to question our own beliefs and interpretations. The figure of Goliath, as a warrior among giants, exemplifies courage and faith in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, a theme that resonates deeply across all eras. By exploring archaeological evidence, sacred texts, and modern theories, we gain a more comprehensive and complex view of these extraordinary beings. Interpretations vary, from metaphorical views to literal beliefs, each offering a piece of the puzzle that is the story of the Nephilim. This diversity of perspectives enriches our understanding and encourages us to continue seeking the truth, even when it seems distant or unattainable. The legacy of the Nephilim in popular culture and religious traditions demonstrates their resilience and ongoing relevance. They continue to inspire and intrigue, keeping the flame of mystery and exploration alive. The story of Goliath and the Nephilim reminds us that no matter how much we advance in our knowledge, there will always be new questions to ask and new horizons to explore. Ultimately, the search for hidden truth is a reflection of our own journey as human beings, always seeking meaning and understanding in the vast and complex universe we inhabit. As we delve deeper into these ancient narratives, we find that they not only offer insights into the past, but also provoke us to reflect on our present and future. The enduring fascination with Goliath and the Nephilim underscores the timeless nature of their stories and their ability to connect with fundamental human experiences and emotions. Through their tales, we are reminded of the power of faith, the strength of the human spirit, and the unending quest for knowledge and enlightenment. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video, and for your commitment to understanding more deeply the story of Goliath and the Nephilim. It's inspiring to see people dedicated to exploring and learning about these ancient stories that have shaped our culture and beliefs. Now that you've discovered the true story of Goliath and his brothers, there's something even more fascinating you need to know. We have another video that delves into biblical figures and their hidden meaning. You want to understand how these stories connect and how other biblical figures also have intriguing roots and revealed mysteries, then you need to watch this next video. I recorded this other video showing how these figures influenced biblical narratives and our modern interpretation. Click the link and let's continue this journey of discoveries together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.